my pop-up was telling me like these boot camp stories where they on like some of the last days would be on their elbows through like live fire. Right. So they had to do these exercises under barbed wire with live fire, and he hated whoever he had to report to. So he'd pick up little rocks along the way and like pitch them at whoever was in charge of him's head just to see him hit the dirt.
Jenny, if your question is, did any of my maggots ever try that? The answer is no.
Wait a minute. Did you just call me a maggot?
Uh-oh.
Of course I did.
Cap,
hey.
Neal McDonough.
Hi, Neal. How are you,
man?
buddy? I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing really well. I heard you were on tonight, so I implored the people here. I said I have to talk to the Cap and have some fun with him. So
oh, man.
I'll tell everyone who's listening right now, and I think I told everyone last week that my acting career in the last 10 years has skyrocketed because after all the years of the great acting schools that I went to in New York and London and everything else, the greatest tips that I got ever from acting was from Captain Dale Dye, and I think of him on every project that I do and everywhere that I go, without blowing too much smoke up his ass, because everyone loves to do that, because he deserves it. That man right there, he has helped me act better than anyone else before. So, Cap, I love you for that.
I love you too, Neal. And let me tell you, that's another one. Neal McDonough is another one that can look innocent no matter what he's done. I mean, on the date, late in the training, when we finally made these guys start assuming their ranks, and Neal, of course, became a lieutenant, and he would screw something up. And he had our weapons platoon. He had machine guns, mortars, and all that sort of thing. And we were on a final field exercise, and Neal's mission, it was a double envelopment. We had the two infantry platoons moving around either side of Neal's base of fire. And I said, now, Lieutenant, you got to remember when the signal goes, you have to shift your base of fire. And I don't know whether Neal's machine gunners didn't hear him or he didn't bother to kick him in the butt or what happened. But, I mean, they laid back on the triggers and just ripped through those belts of ammunition. And, of course, what was happening is the lead elements of the two enveloping forces were running into the cone of fire. And I had a complete hissy fit and ran over and screamed at the lieutenant and so on and so forth. And Neal gave me this look of innocence. Those blue eyes will kill you. I mean, and it was, who, me, sir? But, sir, I told them, and I said, all right, Lieutenant, look. And I got down, remember this, Neal? I got down with a stick in the dirt. And I said, here's why you got to do it. He said, oh, yes, sir, I understand completely. It's just getting these turds to stop firing. And I said, well, that's what a lieutenant does.
I remember that like it was yesterday. In my pocket right now, when you gave us those brass Zippos, I have carried that brass Zippo, as you well know, in my pocket for the last 10 years.
Yeah, you have.
Everyone who wants a cigarette here in Captain America, I'm sitting here on the set and saying, this is from Captain Dale Dye, and I'll light their Camel or I'll light their Marlboro, whatever the case is. Man, you're in my mind.
That brings up an interesting question for me. Last week, Neal was talking to us off camera about the paparazzi sneaking onto the set, and one guy was dressed in full camo with trees sticking out of his hat. Is there a possibility that you would want to branch out, Captain, and quite possibly have a boot camp for paparazzi to get them in better places?
I think it was actually Scott Grimes taking the pictures in the woods. I think it was.
Probably was Scotty, yeah. Either him or Dick Spade, one of the two. But
that's right. Well, his red hair kind of blends in with the camel, with the tone of the woods here in England. It's classic.
Yeah, he's as good at camouflage as you are, which is not very good.
Not very good. I mean,
no, guys who are colored like Neal and Scotty, it's difficult. You gotta work with them. But I want to talk about this paparazzi.
Okay,
let's do it.
I would love to get them all together because that would make them a wonderful target.
Yes.
I mean, one round I could get about 30 of them.
Not to mention all the misinformation you could be giving them.
Exactly. your own propaganda parade right there through the paparazzi.
I love it. Let's do it.
Yes.
Now I want to ask Neal a quick question. Does the captain know about your canteen?
I don't think so. Cap, I don't think you know about this. So when you were, ripping us some new assholes right before we got on the buses to go to boot camp, you're saying, if I see any alcohol, if I see any marijuana, if I see any shit like this, I will shit down your, the whole speech you gave us.
Right.
And I'm like, oh my God. And what I did was, I knew that being a lieutenant, when my guys do something really good, and this is what Buck did.
Right.
I'm going to give them a bottle of whiskey to share at some night. So my canteen, I filled it with a bottle of Bell's whiskey. And he said, and you said, if I find any whiskey in any of your lockers, and that was it right there. I'm like, oh shit, I got to carry this canteen on my hip until my boys do something good. And as you said, my boys were a bunch of turds, as was I, because we didn't know shit about all this kind of stuff. So for the first 4 days, Cap, when you'd say, all right, stop, take a water break, I couldn't take a water break because in my canteen was whiskey. So there I am dying. And, as you pointed out last week, it was like, well, the guys must have thought you were just the tough as nails because you wouldn't even take a sip out of your water canteen. And I would sit down there like dying, I was, and I was the oldest guy there. I'm like, I'm not gonna give in. I'm not gonna get kicked off. I'm not gonna have Steven Spielberg find out that I had whiskey. I don't want to lose this job because I didn't have a job. These are all the things that are going through my head. So finally, when we finally took that tank and had, Billy Budd in the back and all the guys, we enveloped all the way around, and Spears blew the whole mission. I went in there and got it, and you were like, Compton, that's the way. That night, I went into the barracks, and I took my my canteen, and I slid the canteen across the floor, and I just listened. Holy shit, it's whiskey! Compton's got his whiskey! And they drank the whiskey, and then the next day I filled that freaking canteen with water, and I was good after that. I am sure you didn't know that.
I didn't know it. I'm still pissed. And the only thing it does for me, Neal, the only thing it does for me is explain that goofy ass look on your face half the time.
it wasn't on purpose. It was dehydration.
I was about to pass out.
Okay, if you say so. I think you'd been nipping on that a little bit, but that was.
I wish that I had, but I was too honest to do it.
I think it was a classic Buck Compton moment, and had I known about it and had I been able to control it, I might have said, "Yeah, okay, I get it."
Knowing you would have said, "Damn well, soldier, good job." But I didn't want you to know. I didn't want anyone to know. I wanted to do it for just my boys.
That's what's killing me about this whole event. I'm finding out these weird things that you guys did.
I don't know if Cap knows this or not, but Neal's currently in Ireland now. Are you still in the pub drinking?
Yeah, I'm with my sister and my wife and my nephew and all my friends here in a little place called Clifton up in Connemara, Ireland. We had a few days off from filming, so I came up here to see the family, and we're hanging out here. And yeah, that's where we are.
Oh, that's terrific! I love Ireland. Thing. My family's from Cork, and
that's right.
And I get back there every chance I get, which is not often enough. But I did know you were working on Captain America, and congratulations on that, kiddo.
Yeah, thank you very much. We're having a great time, and it's nice to go back to World War II. And it's funny seeing some of the actors fiddling with their Thompson or fiddling with their M1. I'm like, come here, son. Let me show you how to do that.
Let me show you.
And it's yeah, and it just feels damn good. I have to admit.
It's terrific. Proud of you. See, the training pays.
Thanks, Cap. You ain't kidding, man. You ain't kidding. Thanks, Cap.
Okay, Neal.
Right, I won't keep you any longer. I know you have your show here to do tonight, so enjoy. God bless you, and I love you. You're the best.
Love you, buddy. Talk to you later.
All right, thanks for calling in, Neal.
Thank you.
You bet. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.